In this video, I'm going to explain what annotated bibliographies are and how to complete your annotated bibliography assignment. So first, in the annotated bibliography assignment, you need to provide the question you plan to answer in your final paper. Only if you can provide a question, you know what kind of research you need to do. Right. Then, in alphabetical order by family name, in accordance with Chicago style, you would give the bibliographic information for 3 print scholarly secondary sources. Right. At least one must be a monograph published by University Press. At least one must be an academic article. It shouldn't be a book review or shorter piece. It needs to be a full-scale article from a peer-reviewed scholarly journal or a chapter from an edited volume published by University Press. For your third book, you could use a general history textbook, or you could use another article, or you could use another monograph. All those would be fine. But the key thing here is these aren't web sources. This isn't a short book review. These are solid academic sources. Now, this is key. This is what makes a bibliography annotated. A bibliography is simply a list of the books that you used in your paper. An annotated bibliography includes an explanation. So beneath each source, include a paragraph of 152 words that A, describe the source. What's this mean? Well, provide details such as what the source is about, who the author is in terms of where that person is employed, and what he or she does for a living, and any other relevant information. That B, summarizes the basic argument the source is making. Remember, journal articles, books make arguments. Textbook wouldn't, so you wouldn't need to do that as much for a textbook, but for the other things you would. And C, explains what information the source provides. And D, explains specifically how the argument information will help you in your research for your final paper. So, if you're writing a paper on cholera, you wouldn't just want to say, well, this is going to tell me more about cholera. On the other hand, if you could say this paper focuses especially on how the sanitation movement helped to control cholera, and that's a topic I'm interested in. So this is very relevant. So your question is worth 5 points. Each bibliographic entry is worth 5 points. So that's a total of 15 points because there's 3 entries. Each paragraph is worth 10 points. That's 30 points because there's 3 sources. The assignment should be submitted on Blackboard in Doc or DocX format by the time and date noted in the schedule. And to give you kind of a sample of what this would look like, you would have your question at the top. Then in entry 1, you would have the bibliographic format of the source in Chicago style. Then your description of the source in a paragraph. In that same paragraph, you would summarize the argument of the source, then explain what information the source provides, and explain how this will help you with your final paper specifically. These 4 things are in one paragraph. Under the bibliographical entry, then you have your second entry, and you do all the same thing, then your third, and boom, you're done. I want to stress, people often rush through the annotated bibliography. Do not do that. Do not rush through this. If you do this right, if you make sure you actually understand what your sources are talking about and how they're useful, your paper will be much easier to write later on. There's a temptation to just kind of phone in these assignments, to do them as easily as possible, and to not really put in much work. The problem is, what that means is later on in the semester, when it's time to actually write the paper, you're going to be really, you're already going to have a lot of other stuff to do from other assignments, and you've kind of put off the real work, and that just makes your life harder. So do this right, take it seriously, things will be easier later on.